as a PG podcast, but then Devin just kept on dropping shits and fucks, and
I'm just trying to figure out what's in her mouth.
I just want to see him interview Francesco Accoli.
No, he's a good human being, is what he would say about himself, I'm sure.
Who's hosting this thing?
Take charge, Kevin, would you? Jesus.
First time we ever met those guys. That was the major drunken pub argument.
I think you guys are the worst.
I'm gonna have to probably watch some Canucks hockey, unfortunately.
Just making friends left, right, and center, and probably some enemies as well.
Tell him to shut up. He needs to hear that every once in a while.
Off to a good start.
All right. We are live.
It's okay to talk when it goes live.
And we will. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Hockey Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at podcast_hockey, Facebook.com, The Hockey Podcast, YouTube.com, The Hockey Podcast, where we have gained some subscribers. And a driver apparently has driven by. And where we sit at the 100 and halfway through the second, little bit past the second round of the National Hockey League draft, as well as you can subscribe to the audio shortly after, as tomorrow night, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific, 6 Mountain, is the first round of the NHL entry draft. Who will go where? The Seattle Kraken's first NHL draft pick will be there, and some historic moments could happen. Brothers could unite. Hometown heroes could land home, and sons could play with where their fathers are. It's a historic possibility. We're going to break all that down here as we say hello, Devin. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm kind of geeked up about this because I think that this is the first time we've done something like this, and I'm really excited to see where we go with all of this. Of course, if everyone has questions, feel free. I'm so jazzed. I am so jazzed to do this. I have been geeked up.
I want to correct you. This is the second time we've done a mock draft. It's been a couple of years. We didn't do one last year, but we definitely did one in 2019.
Oh, okay. So I wasn't a part of that. I remember doing the synopsis of the Flames and, for myself, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and you did Vancouver. So overall, we haven't done a mock draft within the past 2 years, but I guess you are correct within doing a mock draft. What was it, 2 years ago?
I didn't even remember, but okay. So there we go. How are you doing, Sean?
I'm doing good. Yeah, it's fun to see what the future of the NHL looks like, and getting to, even if this is sort of like an under-scouted draft year with everything that's gone on, there's still some excitement, and there's still some prospects that really, really get me excited about what they could do in the NHL.
Yeah. And I guess for me too, just watching a little junior hockey a little bit closer this year than I have in recent years, I think it just creates some excitement for me as well. So I'm excited to dig into this. So the rules will go. Each of us will take. So Sean will have the first pick. I will have the second. Did I do this right? No, Devin. Who has the first? Wait.
Devin has the first pick.
Devin has the first pick.
No. You have the first pick. You have the first pick, and then Sean is what I've known.
Oh God, this is off the rails already. We don't even know our order.
Yeah.
That is what you sent us, as far as I know from the group chat there, Kev. You're first, I'm second, Sean is third.
And then I switched it.
Did you?
Yes.
You son of a bitch. Okay.
We are Great. Organized, but I did switch it. So it's Devin. So Devin is 1, 4, 7, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 28, 31. I am 2, 5, 8, 11, 14, 17, 20, 23, 26, 29, and 32. Sean is 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. So the intent was Devin would get the Flames, Sean would have the Canucks. So thank you, James, for laughing at us or with us, either or. I'm glad someone is laughing. So
I'm laughing. This is hilarious.
Oh,
is
it's so
awesome.
good.
This is like doing a lot of who's. Can you imagine if the NHL did this? Yeah, hey, no, I'm picking first. No, I'm picking first. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, this almost goes back to the Canucks and Buffalo Sabres having to do a coin toss to see who gets to pick the first in the expansion draft back then.
yeah.
That's hilarious. All right. We'll get kind of. Well, let's just get started. I think that's the best way to do it, and then I may have some questions as we go on. Knowing me.
Well done. Yes.
All right. So the first pick, Devin, is for the Buffalo Sabres. You are on the clock. Your general manager, Kevin Adams.
No, Craig Adams.
Right.
I'm going to go completely off the board here. I'm going to pick Devin Stewart Homesmith for number 1. Myself. No, I mean, okay. In all seriousness, we got to go Owen Power. Talk about a 6'6" defenseman, 213-pound. You saw what he could do within the overseas there. He's phenomenal. How could you not pick him number 1? He has size, skill, hockey sense, can play in all situations. Consensus number 1, Owen Power is my number 1 pick. If you guys are going to be ragging me for that, you guys are stupid.
I'm not going to rag you for it, but there has been some talk that Buffalo is very, very high on William Eklund, and they're trying to get a second sort of top 10 pick to try and grab him. But there's also been talk if they can't get him, then they can't get that second pick, that they will take him at number 1. But I think when you look at all the lists that are out there, it's basically Owen Power as close to a consensus number 1 as you can get in this draft.
Before Kevin, you talk, I just want to say that I am going off of power rankings. I'm going off of what I figure is the rankings, not so much for as per team need within what their organization needs. So I'm just going off of rankings, and these other two can tell me that I'm wrong or right.
That's fair, because I mean, there's so many ways to go about this, and there's so many. And even with power rankings, there is not an agree. There is an agreement that Owen Power is the best player in the draft generally, but how after that, there's not a consensus. This is not the fun thing about this draft is it's not predictable, depending on your perspective after number 2. So, don't worry, you're fine. So that leaves it to me, and I am representing the Seattle Kraken. And so I'd like to just first of all congratulate the Tampa Bay Lightning on winning the Stanley Cup. I'd like to welcome all my fans from Seattle, all of that sort of stuff. And for the first pick for the Seattle Kraken, we're going to take Matty Beniers. To me, this is one of the 2 no-brainers. You look at what the Kraken did in their expansion draft. They loaded up on defense. They don't have a lot of skill. I believe that Matty Beniers is the most skilled forward in this draft. And to me, this is a guy, you don't need him right away. He's going to play in Michigan. He's going to develop, but he's going to be a really good center when he gets there. To me, this is an easy one for me. You go Matthew Beniers.
Yeah, part of that University of Michigan powerhouse that's going to be playing that year. So you got 2 University of Michigan players going 1-2 in the draft. Let alone there's still 1 player who played there last year and another that's going to be playing there this upcoming season, still coming up there. But I think 90% sure that there's going to be 4 of them, that all 4 of them are going to go in the top 10 of this draft. It's that's a good pick.
That's not who I had going second, but you know what? He's an outstanding skater, relentless forechecker and back checker. And talk about being a fan favorite within whichever organization he's going to be picked in. Matthew, he's going to be a fantastic player and will be an NHLer within the next 2 to 3 years, I believe. And like I said, whoever is chosen by him, they're going to be a fan favorite.
Fair. That leaves the Anaheim Ducks, and we give this to Sean.
With the third overall pick in this draft, I've got Anaheim taking William Eklund out of the SHL. He is someone who like I said, I know Buffalo's high on. I know he's got quite the confidence and cockiness to him. And if he goes third overall, he's going to take that as a slight. And him and Trevor Zegras are going to be an absolute dynamic duo together. So he's one of those guys. He may not be the biggest at 5'10", 172 as per Elite Prospects, but he's got a high end motor. He's got a he doesn't take a shift off. He goes up and down the ice at all the time. So he's not going to be someone who you're going to be worried about not putting the effort in defensively. So I think at third overall, William Eklund to the Anaheim Ducks is at this point would be the best move for them.
I agree with you on that pick. I know that there's another player that a lot of mock drafts had, but I think he is the second best forward in this draft. So I agree with you on that pick. I would have went there if I was Anaheim.
What's really interesting about this draft is that the lack of viewing that you have as a scout, let alone in-person viewing, you can really bring up a bunch of tape to look at, but if you're not actually physically watching that player play and how they play, to focus in on them and see the little things within what makes them a good player, it's really hard. And that's what I love about this draft, is that there's going to be such a I can guarantee you that our draft is not going to be what's going to happen. I really hope it is, but even within the Central Scouting rankings, that's not what's going to happen, and that's what's so interesting about this draft. And you know what, I do respect on who Sean picked. It's a great pick. It really is, but you will know who will be strong within this draft within the next 3 years, and that's what I love about this.
Fair enough. All right, next is the New Jersey Devils, which gives us back to the great Devin Holmes-Smith.
Oh, thank you, Kev. Appreciate that. You know what? I might go a bit off the board with this. I'm going to pick Luke Hughes. He's going to be playing with his brother. He's 6'2", 180 or 84 pounds. So he has a little bit more to build to physical maturity within himself. He's a smart defensive player. Great poise, reads the game very well, and I think that there is something to having two brothers within the same organization. Just ask the Fleury brothers, who just got drafted by the Seattle Kraken, and I believe that is the route that they will go, just because of the storyline, and there really isn't much difference within the top players within this draft. So I'm going to go Luke Hughes.
Yeah, Luke Hughes is someone who, as you said, is going to be playing with his brother. You've got also Quinn in Vancouver. He's got the skating ability of both of those players, but he's bigger. The talk is he doesn't quite have the hockey sense that both Jack and Quinn have, but he's better defensively than Quinn was at this point in their careers. And even if he doesn't quite have that with the 6'2" frame, the ability to skate, and even if he's 75% at what Quinn is, you're getting one hell of a player, one hell of a defenseman who can get the puck up to his brother and make sure that he gets he's got offensive zone time.
Yeah. So I agree with Sean. He's got good size. He is smarter than I think he's given credit for. So yeah, I think that this is a good pick, a very good pick there.
It's one of those things where when you're compared to your older brothers, and they're both very, very smart, very crafty players like Quinn and Jack are, you're always going to be sort of that step down, even though you're still in the upper echelon of hockey sense for players.
We have a question from. Go ahead, Devin.
I was going to say, trust me, being the younger brother of this guy right here, you want to prove them wrong within their thought process there. So, and even most GMs they want to go down the bloodline, see where you are within your rankings of your siblings, and usually the younger guy is a lot better. Not better. Overall, the statistics say that they are better, and this has nothing to do with me saying that Sean's not as good as I am, but that truthfully, statistics show that is something that needs to be considered within picking the younger brother over the older brother, because I am truly better than Sean.
Okay. Question from Dylan here. By grabbing Luke. Oh, did you want to respond to that, Sean?
He can think of that all he wants, but
I'm staying out of it.
Stats are stats. Okay, listen.
This is where I'm not picking a table.
He was the better hockey player out of the two of us, and that's not even up for debate. So we'll just leave it at that.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll leave it there.
All right, by grabbing Luke, Dylan asked, does that put pressure on engineers to complete the trifecta at some point in the future? Probably not, I don't think. I think it's going to be really hard to get Quinn. You probably would have to give up the keys to the city and a lot to get, to take a lot to get Quinn. Quinn's not leaving Vancouver.
It's got to be a Heischer, I don't even know, a Will Butcher plus a first and a first to get Hughes out of Vancouver. Like it's probably not going to happen.
Not going to happen.
You're focusing on trying to just build around those two and then see what you can do.
Yep.
Which leaves it to me, and I am next, and it is the Columbus Blue Jackets. And this may be where I take us a little bit off the board. I think there's a lot of people that have a particular defenseman here. I'm just going to say it. I'm not as high on Brant Clark as everybody else is. And I'm not going to take him here. My belief is and I think, I do believe that that's probably where Columbus is going to go. But I think that what I'm seeing in Columbus is they need a bit of a heart transplant, a little bit of a transfusion here. So I'm going from the OHL. I'm going to go with Mason McTavish to be the pick. I think he's going to be what they wished Pierre-Luc Dubois was. He's a guy that's grind. I don't think he is as skilled as a couple of other forwards out there right now, but I think he's got a lot of heart. He's got a lot of gumption, and I think he's going to bring some sandpaper much needed sandpaper to that Columbus Blue Jacket organization. So if it was me and I was a general manager, I would be going Mason McTavish in Columbus.
It really does show how versatile this list is going to be, because he was not that high up on my list, but you know what? I do respect where you're coming from, Kev, and I'm not going to give you shit for it. It's that's a great pick for Columbus at 5 there.
He's future captaincy material. He's got I think he's got one of the best all-round packages. Brains, skill, size, and willing to use the size that in this draft. Just because you're skilled doesn't mean you're going to make the NHL. You got to have everything else, and this Mason McTavish has shown that he has everything else. Everyone thought he was sort of just a one-trick pony with his scoring, but he went over to Switzerland and played with men and showed everyone else wrong there. I think that's a great pick there. He's someone that I hope falls to the Canucks because I see him as someone who just is another sort of Bo Horvat in that style where you can just ride him. He's a mule. He's a pack horse, and yeah, that's a great pick. And as you said, he's everything he's everything that Pierre-Luc Dubois is when he's on his game.
Yeah,
is what it is.
Yeah. All right, Sean, you are the Detroit Red Wings.
No, I'm not the Detroit Red Wings.
There's 6.
No, they're not. It's the New York Islanders, and as per the Nick Leddy trade.
Oh shit!
Oh wow, I forgot about that. Thank you.
So Sean, you're the New York Islanders.
You're the New York Islanders.
With the New York Islanders, this I think you look at the type of player that is a Barry Trotz player, a type of player that is a Lou Lamoriello player, and I think they go with a Dylan Guenther from the Edmonton Oil Kings, someone who is he's someone who can be that unicorn that Brian Burke calls for these power forwards. If there's anyone who's going to be that in this draft, it's going to be Dylan Guenther, and if I'm Barry Trotz and I'm Lou Lamoriello, that's the player I want to playing on my team in the next 2-3 years, because I don't think it's going to take him that long to get up to the NHL.
Yeah, you know what? It's once again we're looking at this list, and man, our lists are completely different, and I love it. I love the diversity between it all. Great pick by Sean, a right shot, 6'2", 175-pounder. And I find that WHLers have a bit more grit, determination within their game than other CHL leagues, as far as OHL and QMJHL. So, you know what, I think that is something that is missed within. Well, not missed, but I think that is very valued within that organization, and what a great pick that would be for Lou Lamoriello and Barry Trotz within or on the island.
He has a bit of Jordan Eberle in him. I think that the people that saw him at the U18s felt a little bit disappointed, but I think this is one of those situations where you have to view him in a whole package. He is he's got a very deceptive shot, all-round good player. I think he has also got a little bit of Ryan Getzlaf. I see a little bit of Ryan Getzlaf in him as well. I think he's going to be he will fit very well within that New York Islanders lineup.
That's where I see the physicality of Getzlaf with a little bit more of a shooter's mentality than what Getzlaf has.
Yeah. All right, Devin. I have the San Jose Sharks at number 7. Do you have the San Jose Sharks at number 7?
That's who I have, yes.
Yeah.
So at 7's the San Jose Sharks. Since you have an aging decor, you want to get a good, solid defenseman within there. I'm going to go Brant Clark. He's 6'2", 185-pounder defenseman. Still got a bit of a frame to fill out, but you know, he has a good first pass. Very smart at a playmaking defenseman there. Overall, I just think he has a good physical aspect to him as well, with being that height. And once he gets that man strength and that man weight on him, I feel like he'll do very well within the NHL. And if he can grow within that organization, with having a Brett Burns, a Vlasic, William Karlsson, I think that'll be a massive check mark on his resume, and he'll be able to grow into a good, solid top 4 defenseman within that organization.
Yeah, Brant Clark, right shot defenseman. I'm quite high on him. I think he's got some. He may not be where you want. He may not have the he may not be as good at this point in his career, but he's got the tools to be better. He's one of those guys. I think it's going to be. I think there's going to be more growth out of him than some of these other prospects right now, in my opinion. Just when I look at what he's good at, he went over to Slovakia to play and put up decent points. He got 41 penalty minutes, so you know he's not shy to be physical and get engaged. And he had 15 points in 26 games in the Slovakian men's league. Like, he's played against men already. So I think it's something he may take maybe a year or two longer than some of these other players to get there, but I think he's going to be someone that in 5+ years you'll be looking at maybe a top 5, someone who in a redraft would go top 5.
See, I'm a little bit opposite of him. I have him 4th of the big 4. There's something, I think there is some talent there. I'm not going to dispute the talent. There's just something about is not quite fitting with me there. I think, yes, he's played a lot of hockey. I think there's a love for hockey there for sure, but I think he may need some more time to develop than I think a lot of people think. But that's totally fine because I know that's the beauty of this top 4 is I think everybody has a very different opinion, which leads to my pick with the LA Kings. I am picking Simon Edvinsson. I know Cam Robinson is anybody but Edvinsson, but I have to respectfully disagree with him. I see Victor Hedman. I see a bit of Zdeno Chara. I see this guy is huge. This is a guy that got at the U18s, hurt his knee twice, came back and played. I just think that this guy in a league that is becoming a little bit smaller, he is a monster defenseman. The LA Kings are really lacking in terms of they have a lot of forward prospects. They don't have a lot of defense prospects. This is a guy that is going to be a menace 4 years for the LA Kings. I really strongly believe that. I think that the LA Kings will be very happy if they end up with Simon Edvinsson at number 8.
Kevin, that's a great pick. I mean, I had him within my top 5. He is talk about a tall fucking dude. He's 6'4". He needs to grow into himself a little bit more, but he really reminds me of a Seth Jones type of player. I think that's a very a mix between the two players you're talking about. He can get the puck out of his zone, but I think there's a bit of offensive flair there as well. His size, skill, it just really it screams to me Seth Jones type of player. And I'm not one to really try to paint prospects within that zone of a player that is within the NHL, but it really he screams to me like a Seth Jones type of player.
Yeah, he's got all the tools in the toolbox in terms of physically. He's big. He's got the long reach. My only question is how high is his offensive ceiling as a defenseman? And if you're taking a defenseman in the top 10, you're going to want to make sure. I think ideally you're going to want someone who's going to be able to put up in upwards of 30 points a season. I don't know if I see that in Simon Edvinsson at this point, but he's got all the tools, and he could prove a lot of people wrong within that. He has the ability to skate up the ice and move the puck smartly. And even if he just does that, that's very valuable, especially if he's strong defensively with that size.
Yep. All right, Sean. It is the Vancouver Canucks at number 9. You said to me off air that this is a no-brainer? So,
well, I said it's a no-brainer based off of where I have everyone ranked. You just take whoever's the last one there, because I think you got basically a top 9, and the last one available in that top 9 is going to be Kent Johnson. He is a local kid. has a really good speed, can play center and wing. He's going to you add that speed to what the Canucks already have, and he's part of that University of Michigan team that could potentially have that. He's the fourth player who's going to potentially play for University of Michigan next year, unless one of them turns pro. It's like I said, it's. I looked at that where the Canucks are sitting. You basically take whoever's left out of that top 9, unless someone went off board with a goaltender. That was my only wild card. Is if one of you guys decided to go with a goaltender with either with San Jose. That was the one I looked at potentially with San Jose with a goaltender. But Kent Johnson just is a no-brainer at that point. He's 6'1". He's a little slim at 165, but you can grow into that, and he's got creativity and speed. So playing him with a Bo Horvat or a Elias Pettersson is going to be fun to watch in 2-3 years' time.
Man, talk about a high-end playmaker, great vision, has a bit of flair to his game. He can carry the puck well. He has a strong battles along the wall, and those are the type of players you're really looking forward to feed the puck to. A Pettersson who has a good shot, a Besser who has a good shot. So Sean, that's exactly who I had going for the Vancouver Canucks. The fact that he can excel on the wing, but it can also play a center if you really need him to. And those players who have those type of skill sets are massive within your organization. So having a Kent Johnson in your within your organization, within your depth on your prospects is a massive win for the Canucks if they can grab them there.
Yeah, it's a hometown kid. It seems like the right place to go there. It seems like the most natural of fits. That's the one.
Yeah, I'm looking at this draft, and the two that I really like are Mason McTavish and Kent Johnson, who I think both have potential to be there at 9 for the Canucks.
Yeah.
James says, I see McTavish as a bow-like player, Lysell similar to that of a Hoaglander, and Johnson has that Deaky Pete thing going on. So, take your pick. So there you go. Some options there. Now we're at pick number 10, which is the Ottawa Senators.
Is this me?
Yeah, it's you there, Dave.
All right, I'm gonna go from the USHL. Chaz Lucius. He's a center, 6'1", 185-pounder. Injury risk. He had a bit of injuries within this past season, but he is a top-end goal scorer, strong skater, and a strong physical, surprisingly strong physical presence with him being 6'1", being about of an average size player. So I could see them going down that route potentially because within this offseason, they are thinking about trading a center out of that organization. Chris Tierney is who I'm thinking of, and you cannot go and think about an organization without having that center depth within your prospect pool. So I'm going to go Chaz Lucius from the USHL.
So I have a couple questions for you.
Well, let me tell you, I have answers.
All right. How much did you think of the goalie?
I thought about it. I really did. I don't know if that is something that they really want to focus on as of right now. Granted, yes, they have. They just lost Joey Decord. I thought about it. Jesper Wallstedt is a fantastic prospect, but I feel like Chaz Lucius has a bit more of. He has more certainty within his position and who he is as a player. As far as goalies go, we all know that it's fucking voodoo. We don't know exactly who Jesper Wallstedt will be. He granted is a top 10 pick within this draft, but I went with more of a certain look and a certain pick within looking down the center, and you can easily pick up a player or a goaltender that will be more certain and straight lined within their trajectory than Jesper Wallstedt. It's too much of a risk in my mind.
Yeah, there's two goalies that I think are potential to go here.
Fair.
Not only just for Wallstedt, but you got Sebastian Costa as well.
Yeah.
And I know that there's been rumblings that that's where they're leaning at this point. So I would, going into tomorrow, don't be surprised to see them take a goalie. But I really like the Chaz Lucius pick here. I think he could fit really well with Tim Stützle. I think they both are very good at thinking quickly and being able to do just move the puck as quickly as possible. So if that's where they go, I think they have a potential sort of duo there that can grow and build together.
This is a pick also I could see Ottawa moving out of and moving down. I also think they not only do they need center, they also need some defense as well. And then after the 4, the defense drops off a little bit here. So at this, I mean, we're not doing this for this draft, but this is one area I could see Ottawa trying to move up and trying to move down to get a couple of extra picks a little bit later. So
I actually like what they have coming up on defense. I don't think it's necessarily something they need, but I as strongly as say a goaltender or a center, because you've got Sanderson, you've got Jacob Bernard-Docker. Don't forget about Lassie Thompson coming up as well. I like some of their prospects coming up.
Don't forget about Zaitsev. He's a massive, huge part of their. I can't even finish it. I can't.
I was like, what? Yeah, but it's an interesting. A lot of people have Chaz Lucius in there, so it's not a bad pick for sure.
What about Ron Hainsey? Come on.
Yeah,
Hansen wrong.
So we screwed this somehow up. So I'm pick 11, which is the Arizona Coyotes, and the Arizona Coyotes do not have a pick. They have forfeited their pick because of chicanery, nonsense, and skullduggery. So they have forfeited their pick. So it is technically pick number 12, and pick number 12 is actually Sean. So you're picking the Calgary Flames. Do you still want to pick for the Calgary Flames?
Oh, we got Chicago.
No. There's Chicago.
There's Chicago up there.
Oh, you're right. Oh, you're right. I'm sorry. Then never mind.
Yeah.
I'm off the rails here.
You really are. You really, Sean.
I thought Devin was going to be the one off the rails, but you are there, Kevin.
Yeah, my God. Okay. I'm sorry, everyone.
Man. Okay, so Sean's got Chicago.
At this point, this is where this is where you have to go goalie. You look at what Chicago has. Yes, they could do with a defenseman, but there's not many. I don't think there's a slam dunk defenseman pick here. And I think you have to look at Jesper Wallstedt here and look at they got Kevin Lankinen, but he's 1 year away from UFA. That's where they're at in net.
Gary.
So yeah, so you got to go with Jesper Wallstedt here. He's the consensus top goalie here. And I think teams are starting to become more comfortable drafting goalies back in the first round, because I know Devin said that they're voodoo, but I think we're starting to get away from that. I think teams are starting to invest in goaltending scouting and understanding what makes a good goaltender. So I think this is where you see Jesper Wallstedt go.
I don't disagree, and I think that I was looking at my list and looking at Chicago with you talked about Lankinen. He's the trajectory of that team isn't quite where he is at, and I feel like they could potentially get a good player within trading Lankinen. So that I guess I was more so looking towards Chicago than Ottawa within picking Chaz Lucius for Ottawa over Chicago. But I feel like Chicago, if Wallstedt does get drop within that ranking, that Talk about a good fucking player. He could be a fantastic franchise player within that organization to complement a young core that they have there in Chicago.
Yeah, he's a good goalie. It's a good pick there. I think it makes sense that I think that's a good landing spot for him. He's a quiet. He's got a little bit of Carey Price in him, maybe a little Corey Crawford. So I've heard that a little bit too. A little quieter around the net, not the unmade bed of two. And I think that will help him. So that's a good pick there in Chicago, even though I'm not happy with that organization at all right now. But anyway.
Valid.
All right, Devin. It is the Calgary Flames.
Are you giving this to me? It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Man, I am so happy, and I feel like Brad Treliving would just be running to the podium right now and wanted to take Cole Sillinger, 6 foot, just under 200 pounds. He went overseas he was in the USAHL, playing for Sussex Falls, the Stampede, and will be playing for the Medicine Hat Tigers this year. He got USHL Rookie of the Year, high-end skill, heavy shot, leadership, and I mean with Gio leaving for the Kraken, that's exactly what you wanted to hear. Coming up within your ranks, plays with a bit of bite, and obviously has his father's bloodlines, Mike Sillinger. God, I've heard nothing but good things about this player, and I'd be very happily surprised if he does fall to the Calgary Flames at 12 here. Nothing but good things from Cole Sillinger here.
So just Kev, just before you go on here, what was the name of the city that the Stampede play in their depth?
Sioux Falls.
Sioux Falls.
That doesn't look like Sioux to me. I'll tell you that right now.
I know. I looked at him. He said the X at the end. That was great.
Oh, great. Yeah, fantastic.
Great.
Yeah, pick on me right now, you piece of shit.
It's what I do. It's what I do.
Okay, good.
All right,
tell me. No, hold on. Tell me about Cole Sillinger there, Sean. What do you think about?
Well, I was going to say something, but okay, whatever.
No, Kev, I'm sorry, man. You jump behind the line here, Sean.
It's about to talk. Go ahead, Sean. Fine.
With Cole Sillinger, he's someone that if the Canucks go off the board at 9, sort of quote unquote off the board at 9, he's someone I would like them to get. I really like how he plays. Again, good wrist shot. He's comes from he's got his dad. His dad played in the NHL. Went through how many teams?
12.
So he knows what it takes, and he knows what it takes to be even just a journeyman. So he knows the work ethic that you need. So I think he's got everything you look for in a hockey player, and if he can find a way to take a next step skill wise, I think he's got the potential to be a top 10 pick in a redraft if he finds that extra sort of, if he can find a way to just bump up a couple of his physical skills.
Yeah, it's that this is another natural fit. But there is a natural fit with the Flyers as well. So I think it'll be very interesting when this happens. Someone may try to trade up to make sure that they get him. I think the Flames and the Flyers are going to be in a battle for him, but I think he's the right guy at that spot. Great shot, better puck handler, really good puck handler, leadership, and some character as well. So I think a really good pick for the Flames there. All right, that leaves it to me. I'm just give me a quick second here. Mock drafted. Sorry, I hate. So I have the Philadelphia Flyers, and I can go a couple of different ways here. I could. It's a tough decision. But I'm going to go a little bit of a surprise. Maybe I'm going to go with Matthew Coronado from Chicago of the USSHL here. There's a couple of other options, but he is built to be a Philadelphia Flyer. He is a menacing, tough POS. And the Flyer, yeah. And he is, I think, a guy that this organization needs a little bit more of. I think that they've lacked a little bit of it. So to me, this guy, I think, fits exactly what the Flyers are. There's a couple of other options, but I think 48 goals in 51 games. He's got some skill. He's, maybe a little bit of Rick Tocchet in him. Blast in the past there. So I think a guy, Matthew Coronado for the Flyers, is where I'm going to go there.
I agree. Sorry,
Go
John,
down.
I'm going to rip in front of you here. He had impressive season last year, which definitely raised his stock within the draft rankings. So I would not be surprised if Philadelphia takes him there. He's competitive. He drives hard to the net. And there's a bit of a question whether or not will be able to translate his game to the NHL. But if anybody's going to be able to do it, it will be the Philadelphia organization that will help him transition his game to be within that NHL caliber.
He's more of a new NHL size, at 5'10", 183, with the physicality that he likes to play with. Would fit into the Flyers style. He's going to Harvard, so that's the point where I wonder if they do back off on him on that. If they're looking for the best player available and they think that's the case, you take him. But if you're wanting someone who's going to be there in 2 to 3 years instead of maybe 4. That's where you wonder, because usually the Harvard's really good at making sure that those players stay at school for at least 3 to 4 years. So that'd be my only issue there. But I like the makeup of a Matthew Coronado and the willingness to go to the hard areas. You need those players. If you can have all the skill in the world, but if you aren't willing to go to the hard areas of the ice, you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, there's a couple of other players that I do think the Flyers will be looking at. I think that they have some decisions there. So I'll leave it to see where Sean goes with Dallas. I mean, I'm interested in this, where he goes here, because I think there's a few different options. So
this is where I think you've got Dallas running up and very happy with who's dropped to them and Fabian Lysell. He's a very controversial player, just because I think he's up and down on these boards. There's people who are very, very high on him, who have him as a top 10 player, a top 10. Even Dauber Prospects has him ranked 3rd. Like that's how volatile this draft board can be. And if Fabian Lysell's there for Dallas, I think they're running up there and giddily taking that pick.
Man, what I've read from him and what he's presented himself as being, he is a talent. He does have a top 3 talent within this draft. It's just whether or not it's his character that's a big issue. From what I've read, and he's I don't quite, at this point in the draft, it's one of those ones where you can easily jump onto it and hope that he can mature, and there's no questions within his character, especially depending on where you're at within your system of your AHL and how your NHL leadership group is at. But hey, listen, if he's a top 3 talent within his draft, God, you got to be running up to grab him at this point. I do agree with you, Sean.
Yeah, he's certainly controversial. This is a guy I'm not as high on, but I do see him kind of going within this route. So it's not. I don't think it's off the board. He's got a lot of skill. It's just a matter of him it's the attitude if it fits. It'll be an interesting pick for sure. I'm not like, oh my gosh, how dare you? But it is an interesting pick. I may have went a different route, but that's okay. I'm going to now, but that's okay.
Where would you have gone, Kev? I want to know.
I think that I would have went Othman.
Okay.
But that's me. But that's okay. I don't think.
How dare you, sir, go against Sean Holmesmith?
Kev, how dare you? Like, what?
Do you not know who Sean Holmesmith is?
Okay, Hollywood, you need to calm down.
Yeah, Hollywood. I was between Coronado and Othman for Philadelphia.
As long as you know who's Hollywood here, it's right here.
Fair. But that's the fascination of this, eh?
Exactly. 100%. Yeah.
And as James said earlier, Lazelle's got a bit about that Hoglander style to him, where he's going to be a bit of a pest, and if he can be a pest with skill.
Yep. Yeah. Hey. Yeah. No question. No question. I would not be surprised if the Flames take him up too. So it's one of those things. That's the fascination of this for sure.
Yeah.
But Devin, you're the New York Rangers.
Oh man, I got a bunch of prospects here. You know, I got what a pleasure it is to be who I am right now.
Yes,
you know what?
Hollywood.
Yes. Thank you. You know what? Since I am the Rangers, I'm gonna go Fedor Svechkov. Svechkov. There's no N, I don't think.
No.
So he's 6 foot, 187 pounds. He's from, obviously, as you probably all guessed, Russia. He had a strong performance in the under 18s, and he's defensively responsible, but can actually finish as well. So he has a two-way game that is very highly touted within this draft lineup. He makes others around him better as well. And once again, I don't like really comparing other players to him, but he does seem like he has a Ryan O'Reilly kind of aspect to him, and I'm very high on this player. And if the New York Rangers are able to get this player, God, you got to be happy within that he has a high potential to be within your middle six, if not top six, to really solidify the prospects you do have with Capo Caco and Lafreniere, who you have selected within the past 2 years. So, God, I as much as I hate the Rangers, God, they really do have a good prospect pool, and if they have this player, it really solidifies it.
Yeah, if he has the defensive side of the game, like the scouts say he does, it is something that can really fill out that roster. It could be a really good sort of third piece to a line that has Lafreniere or Kako on it, and it will be. Yeah, I really like that pick for the Rangers. They're not afraid to go after these a Russian player or an off the board Swedish player. They've done it in the past, and yeah, we've got Drury in charge now, but you still have to trust your scouts, and I think that they're very trusting of them, and because they've gone off the board a few times in the past few years.
Sorry, Kev. Not to mention Panarin being there as well to help him if they choose him to help him transition to the NHL game. Sorry, Kev.
Yeah, it's a good pick. Yeah, I like the Ryan O'Reilly comparison. He's got a lanky, all-round forward. Yeah, there would have been one other player I would have considered there too, but I think it's a really good fit there.
What was it?
Kevin, you have to
Hoffman?
tell us. You have to tell us who these players are. You can't just say I would have. Tell us.
It's
Okay,
Brendan Hoffman.
No,
Hoffman.
you either go Shmetnikov there or an Isaac Rosen might have been a good place for him to go there as well.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But it sounds like I'm cheating a little bit because I am the St. Louis Blues and I am going to go Brendan Othman here.
What?
I know, shocking. I just don't. It's hard to pass this guy up. He is a monster. He is a guy that has won everywhere he has went. He's got a little bit of Matthew Tkachuk in him. The question about Brendan Othman has been his skating, but overall, I think he'd be a really good fit in St. Louis. The big monster they will need on the wings there for sure. So I think this might be a little bit of a steal for St. Louis. But I don't necessarily think that anybody is wrong taking what they've taken before, but I think that this is a really good fit. Brendan Othman would be my pick in St. Louis.
Talk about a great forechecker. He plays physical. He has a good, strong, quick release as well within his shot, and that screams St. Louis Blues if I've ever heard anything.
Yeah, he's one of those players in the playoffs when it becomes less of a full 200-foot back and forth game and more of a half court game. Someone who could really step up and be someone who can take it to the next level and dominate a game down low. But yeah, as you said, the skating it may be a bit of an issue, but we've seen players that can fix that, and whether or not his style and his mechanics are able to do that remains to be seen. I haven't watched him skate enough to be able to say that, but if that's a possibility, that could be a very big steal for St. Louis at that point.
And let alone that screams of Matthew Tkachuk kind of type of player, and that's something that they really are missing within that lineup.
Yeah. All right, number 18, the Winnipeg Jets. Where is Sean going to go?
With the Winnipeg Jets, there's a couple ways you can go. You look at where they're at. They're getting a little bit older, but they've got a really good prospect with I'm having a stage fright here and forgetting
Sami Niku?
No, up front.
Oh, up front. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Can't remember now. But I think you look at that and you go, okay, you've got a center that you can build around, and then you've got Hanola on the back end. I think it's time to start looking at who's going to be replacing Connor Hellebuck, though. And at this point, I think you have to look at Sebastian Casa. And on the rankings, the consolidated rankings I've got him at 18. So, he's built like the new age goaltenders. He is 6'6", 212 pounds. Yeah, there we go. Cole Perfetti. Thanks, John.
There we go, Cole Perfetti.
It was right on the tip of my tongue, and I was like, I can't get it.
I was about to jump in there, but yeah.
But yeah, you got Cole Perfetti up front. You've got Ville Heinola on your blue line that are young. It's time to think about who's replacing Connor Hellebuck, and I think it's at this point at 18. I think this is where you take Sebastian Casa.
It's not Laurent Brossoit?
No.
Okay.
Former Flames draft pick.
The best goalie that's been drafted by the Flames in the past 2 decades. Thank you, Sean. Great. Well, you are correct, though. You got to look long-term within that. Who is going to be stepping up within this organization to take over for Hellebuck? And he was named to the Canada U22 or 20 camp. outside of Jesper Wallstedt, he is going to be the second goalie within this within this draft, and whoever gets him has a potential to have a number one goalie going forward. And if there's one franchise within this draft, it is Winnipeg that is looking forward to, who's going to take over for Hellebuck, and that's a great pick, Sean.
Good pick. Yeah, I think it's a very shrewd pick on Winnipeg's part to do that. I think long term ahead, does fit for sure. So nothing much to add there. It's 19. It is the Nashville Predators, and that is Devin.
Oh man. Okay. Well, with if you look at the way that they have drafted, the way that they have constructed their team within the past decade and a half, I'm going to go Carson Lambos. He's a WHL Winnipeg prospect here. He's 6'1", 197 pounds. Last year he played in Finland. Now this is a bit of a reach, if you will, because he did have a medical condition that happened overseas here. Don't know exactly what happened, but obviously hope for the best for him. But the trajectory that he has had within his short career here, I feel like that'd be a fantastic pick for them. He's within the time period that he did spend over there. I have played on international ice. I have played over in Europe, and as a defenseman, it's a massive difference between playing here in North America. You have a bit of a longer ice, and you have a wider ice. So making that adjustment at that age it's so hard. It really is. If you move too closer to the inside of the ice, if you have an attacker coming at you, you're leaving the outside exposed where he could be easily burned. But if you give too much of the inside of the ice away and transitioning over to the boards, you're giving too much in the inside. So I feel like he really, within that you grow as a player, and coming back to NHL ice, you really do have that transition period of understanding where the sweet spot is or where you need to be. Yes, it probably was harder for him overseas, but I think that's a fantastic pick for Nashville going forward.
The one thing I will say, Dev, I believe Finland plays on closer to what North American ice is in terms of size. It might be a little bit bigger than what we have over here, but it's not your traditional international double IHF ice size.
Either way, that's a massive transition, man. I've been there, I've done it. It's a hard transition to being a defenseman, and especially with those players overseas used to playing on that ice. I can't imagine being as highly touted a prospect as he is to just transition to that. But you know what, like I said, having that experience, coming back to NHL ice, and yes, there probably is a slight difference within that. It will benefit you long term. Yeah,
he's been through a lot. There's certainly a perseverance there too. Yeah. So I think it's a good pick. I think Nashville will be a good place for him. They're developing more of a younger defense now, while a little bit younger. So that's going to be a good pick there. I like that. No, number 20 is the Edmonton Oilers, and they probably are a little annoyed at you, Sean, that you took their goaltender, Sebastian Cossa, but that is okay, because I think that they're going to get a little bit of a steal here. I'm going to take Isaac Rosen here from Sweden. This is a guy reminds me a bit of for all you young kids out there, you need to look up the player by the name of Thomas Steen. Reminds me a little bit of him. Very quick shot. Bit of Bo Horvat, even a little bit in him as well. The Oilers, I know that a lot of people are talking about their goaltending, that they need that, but This is going to sound a little weird on a team that has McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent Hopkins. They are lacking overall. I do think that they need to improve on their skill. I think they're fine defensively. I do think overall that they are developing a good defense, but I think that they could add a little bit of skill, and Isaac Rosen would be a really good fit in right here for the Oilers. That will be my pick.
I'm going to step in here, Sean. He shoots well. Goes to the dirty areas within the ice, and maybe a bit more of a project than what you really want to have, because he is a bit slight. He needs to put on a little bit of weight here. He's 5'11", 156 pounds. Once he gets that man, quote unquote, weight onto him, I feel like he'll be a fantastic top 6 player for the Edmonton Oilers if they decide to select him, and if he drops to them, because I do agree that it really depends on how this first round goes. But if he does fall to him, I feel like that's a fantastic pick for the Edmonton Oilers, because they are lacking that top 6 outside of Draisaitl, McDavid. They really don't have much else. No offense to Nugent Hopkins at all, and Puljujarvi, but I just don't know if they have that punch up top there that they really need, and to diversify outside of McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yeah, as you said it there, Kevin. Ken Holland's gonna be pissed if the Jets take Casa. But Isaac Rosen's one of those players. I think all it takes is one team to like him a lot more than another, and he could go higher in this draft. He's got the skill to be up there. He's a little slight. If Kyle Dubas was drafting in the top in that 10 to 13 range, I think he'd take him. He screams Kyle Dubas player, in my opinion, and that's not a slight. That's a compliment, because Dubas loves skill and understands how important skill is. You need to have it to win, and he's got that. Whether or not the only question I have with Isaac Rosen is whether or not he can make that step into the NHL, play amongst the bigger, stronger, fully developed men in the NHL. But he's got the skill for sure, and that is a very good pick for the Oilers if that's who they end up taking at this point.
Yeah. All right. Number 21, the hated, dreaded Boston Bruins. Sean.
At this point, I've got you have to take the faller. And at this point on my list, the player who's still there, is Atu Ratti out of Karpat in the Finnish league. I have him at 15 on my list that I'm looking at. He was higher. He's ranked higher up. He's fallen down a little bit on this draft board. He's 6'1", 181 pounds. He was ranked as high as 12th in some of these picks. He's versatile. He doesn't necessarily. I don't think he necessarily has the high end skill that a lot of the players that we've talked about here have, but he's got an all round game. He's got that's for lack of a better description, a stereotypical Finnish game where he's going to be in your face. He's going to make sure that he's on the ice, and he's going to make a presence every shift that he can. And but they say he doesn't necessarily have the high end skill, but he's going to make sure that he's on the ice.
He's fallen drastically within this draft class ever since last year. He has the high end talent that you really want out of a prospect, but since he has fallen, if he is anywhere close to the ceiling that every scout has kind of touted him at, then it's an absolute steal, and you gotta take it and run with it. So it's a good pick.
Yeah, at this point, I mean, I saw Derek Neumeyer tweet that he wasn't going to be. He predicted he's not going to last. He's not going to get out of the, or he's not going to be a first round pick. But it's one of those that I could also see kind of where this draft is going. It feels to me like someone is going to will not let him. He's one of those guys that I think teams may regret not taking. So he feels a bit. I know, like the name doesn't make sense when I say this, but he has a Boston Bruin kind of mentality. Not like sandpaper tough, but he's got some perseverance. He's got a little bit of skill. It's a good place for him, I think.
Yep.
All right, number 22 is Isha's and the Soda Pods Minnesota Wild. Devin, what have you done?
Oh man. Well, I mean, you lost Carson Soucy. I don't know if it's first name Carson or not, but
yeah,
sounds right. Yes. Well, we're going to replace him with another Carson. Carson Kuhlmans. I feel like he is a fantastic pick for Minnesota. He's 6'2", just under 200 pounds, coming out of the AJHL Brooks Bandits Association. Shout out to Cale Makar, considering that's where he came from. He has a high hockey IQ, impressive offensive talent, has size, mobility, and is a great physical presence within that lineup. It just seems like that organization has been whoever is the defensive coach within the Brooks Bandits has been able to thrive, and the scouts outside of him bringing these type of players into that organization. Obviously, they've been able to prime NHLers outside of that, and I truly believe that Kuhlman he will be a NHLer for the next decade or so. He just has to get up to NHL speed, but overall, I think that's a fantastic pick for Bill Guerin and the Minnesota Wild.
I think that's a fantastic pick. I think that's someone that it's a bit more of a project. He's going to University of Wisconsin this fall, and I really hope that whoever's that he learns a little more structure in his game there, because the Brooks Bandits play a very, very offensive and freewheeling style. So I think there's a lot of people who look at that and look at the mistakes he can make while playing in that system, and really sort of knock him for it. But if you can rein him in and create and give him structure in his game, you're going to get a hell of a player, and maybe someone who might be the steal of the draft at this point.
Raw talent, can play both sides. Good puck handler. If you're expecting Cale Makar, he's not quite the same as Cale Makar. But,
not quite.
No, like in terms of style. In terms of style, what I mean, he's not the same style, but
no,
he's going to be. He is a good defenseman, and it may take a bit, but he's going to get there.
And if I portrayed that he's going to be a Cale Makar, that's not.
No, I'm not saying you did, but I think when we think Brooks Bandits, we think Cale Makar. You're thinking kind of
either way, it's like you're going to get a fantastic defenseman within Kuhlman. So if you are a Minnesota fan, fucking take that and run with it, and fucking hide that within your back pocket, because he will be an NHL defenseman for the next 10 years.
Yep, I think you're right. That leaves me with the Detroit Red Wings, and I'm between two here. And I'm going
to take him, Kevin. Take him. You know you want to.
Nope, that's not who you think. I think Detroit needs some playmakers. So I'm going to go to Rimouski, and I'm going to take Zachary Bolduc, center, good size, good strength. I just think they got some wingers there, but they need some more center depth. To me, Zachary Bolduc makes the most sense there for me for Detroit.
Go for it, Sean.
This is where we're at the point of the draft where my knowledge is sort of running thin, so I'm just trying to pull up the information here. Yeah, as Kevin said, he's got playmaking skill. I've heard also at this part of the draft, you also hear a lot of what we've been saying, where you could have the steal of the draft, and I've heard this about Bolduc as well. Yep. Where you think you might have that. I've also seen people say he may not be there. He's more of a second round pick. But I think he's got the speed and the playmaking ability to capitalize on defenders when they are sort of just, you catch him sleeping a bit, and he's got that ability to notice that and make them pay.
Yeah, he's a man. And so he's 6'1", 175 pounds, from Ruski, our QMJHL prospect. He's just got to get a little bit more size on him, and I feel like he would be able to jump in within this pro, whether AHL or NHL, and be able to thrive within that atmosphere. You got to hope that they're able to help him, prime him for a long-term career within the pro, whether it's AHL or NHL. Sorry, but yeah, that's where I'm seeing Zachary sitting.
Detroit doesn't really have that explosive center yet. They are developing prospect, and they've got some good pieces. Like, I really like Dylan Larkin, but I wouldn't say that he's an explosive, dominant center. He's got a lot of speed, but I feel like Bolduc is more the fit that they're looking for. So that's kind of why I went that way. There was a few options there, but I felt like they do need some center depth there for sure.
Yeah.
This is also Steve Yzerman we're talking about, and I wouldn't be surprised if he goes off the board here.
Yeah.
Has he been on the board with his draft picks since he took over with Detroit?
Who?
No.
I mean, picking Raymond last draft, I thought that was a fucking sneaky pick, considering his. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. That might have been his most on the board pick, because remember he went completely off the board with the German defenseman
Moritz Seider. Yep.
Moritz Seider.
For sure, and it made the majority of those insiders shit their pants and make sure that they have depends on hand here for when Yzerman decides to pick his second first round pick. So yeah, it's valid. It's fair.
All right. Let's go now to number 24, which is the Florida Panthers, and Sean.
And at this point, they're. I'm just trying to rethink. I'm trying to rethink things again. They're in a bit of a spot where, like, you have. I'm not sure there's a. I think they probably need a defenseman. I don't think there's anything there that really screams draft me now. So I think this is where. I think we're going to see a lot of movement in the mid to late first round with trading up and trading down. And
Wouldn't be surprised.
This would be a spot there, but at this point, I think you have to go with Nikita Chibrikov. It's someone who I think there's a lot of people who like him in this spot. There's even pushing up in. There's places that have him lists that have him in the mid to early teens. And he's someone who has good speed, plays with his head up, and plays with the head up without the puck. So he knows when he gets the puck what he's going to do with it, and that is something that really separates players from just being a third line player to a first line player. Not only with the physical skills, but the mental skills of being able to know what you're doing with the puck before you even get it. And I think that's a big strong point of Chibrikov.
Yeah, he's a smaller right shot right winger, 5'10", 170 pounds. he's responsible. He does need to mature a little bit, but there's no question about his skill and talent. Talk about a high end player that could easily be within your top 6, depending on whether or not he can mature to the North American style game, and let alone just himself as a person.
Yeah, very sneaky guy. Quick shot. Yeah, small guy. I do think Florida needs a little bit of dynamic scoring there, especially on the right end. I think that's something that they will need to add eventually. So I think that's a good pick there. This was the Toronto Maple Leafs pick, but they decided to acquire Nick Foligno for it. So Devin, who are the Columbus Blue Jackets going to take?
You know what? I'm going to go very, very on board for Jarmo Kekalainen and his roots within Finland. I'm going to go with Samu Tumala. He's talk about a right winger, another small right winger from Finland. He's 5'10", 174 pounds. He has a great shot, shoots from absolutely everywhere, from downtown, if you will. He's willing to risk it all for his shot, and I really appreciate that watching. His brother Robertson, Jason Robertson, in Toronto here. Talk about somebody who shoots from everywhere. I instantly think about him. It's one of those players where if you're a prospect and you feel that confident from anywhere, I'm super happy that he could be a potential a player within the NHL, exciting and willing to shoot from everywhere. So he needs to physically mature for sure. But overall, he has the tenacity, and I can see him being an NHLer for the next foreseeable future for sure. So Samu oh my God, I said it before and I cannot do it now.
Say it 3 times.
Samu Tuamala. There it is.
Tuamala.
Yeah. God.
Thanks to Elite Prospects with their audio pronunciations. I had to click it and play it a few times so I can know what to say.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. Thank God.
Tuamala is someone who is an elite skater. He plays with an unpredictability. He's not someone who you have to rein him in. He's one of those guys. There's that old saying, you can't create a stallion out of a pony, but you can rein in a stallion type deal. And he's one of those guys. He may not be big, but he just plays. He goes out and he just go. Like there's if you can figure out how to put a little bit of structure into his game and be able to play within the NHL style, I think you have something there.
Yeah. A lot of talent there for sure. A bit of structure, and it's going to be interesting to see what that identity is. I think that's the question that I have there. But it is a Kekalainen pick. It is a very Columbus Blue Jacket pick. My pick is next, and it's the Minnesota Wild again. And I'm going to go with Francesco Pinelli here for the Minnesota Wild. I think that he is a hard worker, kind of a bit, kind of similar style to Cole Sillinger. I think he's going to play a heavy game, has a great work ethic, played well at the U18s. A lot of people thought that some people were predicting that he would lead the team in scoring, impact player. I think he just fits everything that the Minnesota Wild are looking for up front. So I think that this one is a natural, and one of those natural fits to me. Francesco Pinelli, I think, goes here to the Minnesota Wild.
Talk about a first top player. I play center and wing. Great two-way game, and great hockey sense and hockey IQ. No question he has skill and a good potential to be a top 6 to 9 player within that organization.
Yeah, he's someone who is a very direct player, and is has a decent ability to react quickly to a good pass and get it on net as quickly as possible. And when you've got someone with Marco Rossi coming up with Minnesota, maybe he can move to the wing and be a good winger for him.
All right, next is the Carolina Hurricanes at number 27. Sean, where are you going?
All right, the Carolina Hurricanes are going with Xavier Bourgeal from the Shawinigan Cataracts of the QMJHL. At this point, you just got to go with your list and go with your best player available with your list, and that's who I've got. He put up 40 points in 29 games this year with 20 goals and 20 assists. He's 6 foot 172, and again at this point, I apologize. I don't really have too much here, other than I'm just going off the lists I'm going with here, and you got to go with who you got there. And he put up 2 assists in with the U17s in the World Junior Hockey Championships in the under 17s with Canada White in 2018-19. So he's got some pedigree with being with Hockey Canada, and I don't think it's a bad pick here.
I got to be honest, I didn't hear that pick.
What do you, Constantino? It's not. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm not. Go for it, Kev.
It is Zach. It's not Zachary. Zachary Leroux.
No. Xavier Bourgeau.
I'm sorry. Oh my gosh!
What is happening here?
I'm sorry. I thought I was looking at it differently.
Xavier. Okay. Talk about a player that he has a bit of grit to his game. He's from the QMJHL, Shawinigan. What a fucking beauty player he is. You kind of go off the board a little bit here with him. But overall, you know what? I don't think that that's a bad pick overall for that organization, and he has good potential to be within that I guess penetrating the NHL roster. He's a good pick there.
All right, even though we butchered the name. Good pick.
Yep.
Good job.
I was picking up what you're bringing down. I understand.
Sorry about that, everybody. All right, next is the Colorado Avalanche, and this is where Devin goes.
Oh, gorgeous. All right. So I'm actually looking at what you just said there, Kev. Zachary Leroux. Talk about a bit of a project, maybe a bit of a reach. He does have the skill there that he is willing to put himself on the line there. He needs to mature 100%. But he does have that grit, that drive, that hard-nosed play. Very much a Tom Wilson type of player that you're willing to take a risk to potentially develop within an organization, especially with the amount of talent that they do have within Colorado. So, you know what? I think that Zachary Leroux is a fantastic pick to kind of round out the talent that is within the organization.
Yeah, the issue with Leroux is that he's got is his size. Can he play that mean physical player at the NHL level, or is he just going to be sort of a third line sort of bottom six pest? That's the only question there with Leroux for me.
Yeah, I think that Colorado does need a little bit more sandpaper in that lineup. I mean, all due respect to Nazem Kadri, so I do see where this is a little bit of a fit. But I think that the question is valid there. But again, I kind of feel sometimes with this, there's a, I mean, we aren't trading here, but this is a place. I think we're going to see some chaos trades here. I think this is 25 to 30. I'm calling it. There's going to be some chaos, and there's going to be some off the board stuff here.
Well, 100%, Kev. They talk about a draft that, like we said before, that is completely, absolute fucking chaos. And you're going to have people who are, or organizations who are higher on other people. And this is where it's going to be within this 10 to 15 pick of the first round.
Yeah. All right. I am next, and I have the New Jersey Devils, who picked from the New York Islanders. And I am going to go with a player by the name of Mackie Samsovich from the Chicago Steel. He is a guy that is going to get into the fabric of the game. He 5'11", but plays a little bit bigger, goes to the net. He's got a lot of skill, great skater. Reminds similar style, but not as big as Dylan Gunther. But this guy might. We're going to say this a lot. There is a lot of people really high on him that have him in the top, some have him in the top 15 of this draft. So this may be looked upon in a lot of ways as a little bit of a steal. But and he's in a really good organization. The Chicago Steel is a really well-known, good developing organization. It's a good fit for New Jersey, so that's where I'm going to go. Mackie Samsovich. Samsokevich, I think, is the correct pronunciation. But yeah.
That's a great pick, Kev.
Well, when you use his nickname, I'm trying to find him, and it's Matthew Samsokevich, and it's Mackie. So I was like, I was pulling. Was it who the Sportsnet last year where they're like, who, and they're like flipping through their
Samir Makhmadulin. Yeah.
No, it wasn't Makhmadulin. It was a Chinnikov or whatever, the Columbus pick that really threw them for a loop. But he's got a high motor. He's a buzzsaw. Like he's one of those guys that at this point you have to find what they do well and see if it translates into the NHL. And I'm not sure if there's going to be a bit. If you feel like his motor can help him make it to the NHL, and maybe he can work on the rest of his game throughout that, then that's someone that I think is a good pick at this point.
You know what? I didn't see this until now, and it's been about 30 minutes since I've seen this. But King Carl, anyone getting drafted who has a awesome beard like Devin, I don't think that's going to happen there, King Carl. But listen, I'm more than happy to tell you my secrets within growing a good beard and having a good beard oil.
There we go. All right, it is the Vegas Golden Knights now. Sean, where are you going?
I'm going to steal someone that you're a big fan of there, Kevin. I'm going to take Logan Stakehoven for the Vegas Golden Knights. They like their Western Canadian kids. They drafted Cody Glass and Peyton Krebs, and they went and traded for Nolan Patrick. And Stakehoven is someone who I think is maybe a borderline first round pick at this point, depending on your list. But he's got some high end skill. He's a little small at 5'8", 170, but I think he's fearless. He's got that motor that I think can outwork that size deficit.
I like that pick a lot. That's exactly where I have Stankhoven going. A bit smaller, a bit of a Brendan Gallagher type of player, 5'8", 170-pound player, skill, determination, drive, and has a great shot. So if there's anybody that is going to be taking Stankhoven and maybe taking a bit of a risk by taking him that early, then it would be the Vegas Golden Knights, who are looking for a a bit of depth within that center spot. Who was a bit smaller, and I mean, they did have that kind of player in Suzuki, but they decided to trade him for Pacioretty. So I feel like that's a fantastic spot for Stankoven to go for Vegas.
Yeah, I'll say this for the Canuck fans: if he is in the second round at the same place that you're picking now, and the Canucks pass on him, that is an error. Like that, I am very high on Logan Stankoven. I actually I'll hot take this. I think he's better. I think that I thought he was better than Fabian Lysell in the U18s, but I think overall, I think some people, the scouts have Lysell a little higher. I think that this is a really good pick. I think he's a perfect Vegas Golden Knight. I think he'll be comfortable there. It's a great place for him. That's where I would have had him as well. So, all right. Number 31, Joel Gaudette's Montreal Canadiens, Devin's enemy team. Devin, what are you doing there? Are you
hey,
are you forfeiting the pick?
Yeah, I'm done. I can't do it. No, I'm going to go with a former NHL player's son, Tyler Boucher. He's a right winger, 6'1", just over 200 pounds. He's from the U.S. U18 organization. He's a bit off the board. He's been a point per game player, Tom Wilson type player, plays on the edge, and I feel like that's something that they are missing within that organization. I feel like he would help them build around that talented core that they have with Kotkaniemi, Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, and really just solidify that young, really, really good offensive talent that they do have within that within the Canadiens organization. So yeah, I'm going to go Tyler Boucher.
Yeah, they've got Josh Anderson in Montreal, but we all know how quickly those players can peter off. Getting someone who can maybe replace him as a more physical player for their smaller skilled players that they have with Suzuki and Caulfield would be a smart move. And he's going to Boston University. That's a good school with a good program that has developed some NHLers in the past. It may, as you said, maybe off the board. It may be a little bit of a galaxy brain pick here, but I don't hate it. He's like, I think he's been called the most physical player in this draft, so I don't hate it.
Montreal, they need some physical. I still think they need to be a bit more physical up front. That would also be a good place if Vegas was going to pass on Stankoven. That Montreal, I think, should look there for sure. That would be a nice place for him. But yeah, a good pick for Montreal there. I think that they need to get a little bit bigger up front. That's be one of the issues there. So I think it's a good pick. So I have the 32nd pick, and it is the Columbus Blue Jackets. And I'm going to go with Sasha Pashajov from the U18 program in the USA. Reminding everybody of a guy that blew up this year, Cole Caulfield. The guy just scores goals at opportune times. And I think that this fits what I think the Columbus Blue Jackets need to start getting into is just getting these types of players that are in the fabric of the game. That's, I think, where the disconnection where Torts and where this team was. They don't have that much of that anymore. I think Sasha Pashajov fits that very well. I do want to point out, though, that couple of other guys I did think about. Olin Zellinger of the Everett Silvertips. I would not be surprised if this guy ends up being a first-round pick. Sean Behrens is another guy that I think I wouldn't be surprised as a first-round pick as well. So there was a couple of ones that on my list that I didn't touch on here, but I think Columbus does still need some dynamic there. So I'm going to go with Sasha Pashajov. I can't pass him up at 32.
That's completely fair. He's pretty average in his size and weight, 6 foot 182. if Columbus is putting him here, they got to bet on his skill. Needs a bit of work as far as maturity, but an intelligent player within this draft class. His IQ is up there within the NHL talent. So I'm kind of curious how he translates his skills that he's acquired and that he's learned within the past few years to potentially step into that top 6, top 9 type of role within Columbus.
He's a positionally strong player. I think he needs a little more creativity in his game and willingness to push the envelope. We talked about how Tuamola was someone who's you need to rein in. This is someone you need to push to be a little more creative. He's got a shot. He's got one hell of a shot. But I don't, at this point, if he's going to make that next jump, if he's going to make the jump into the NHL, he needs to figure out how to get out of his comfort zone and find go into the hard areas and find a way to just be a little more creative with where he goes in the ice and find those soft areas, because at this point I think that he's getting away with one hell of a shot. And once you take it to that next level, everyone's got a shot like there's a lot of players who have a shot like that, and what separates them is their ability to find the soft areas. And like I said, I think that's just where he needs to improve to make that next step.
Yeah, I still think there's some dynamic to him that it's hard to pass up, but there's also for Columbus, there's some really good defensemen here. Daniil Chica, another defenseman that we didn't take. So it wouldn't surprise me if they do that, but it's hard to pass up that. I think some good skill there in Columbus.
Yeah, if Columbus is going to be looking at trading Seth Jones, I think at this point I would be looking at a defenseman. Daniil Chica, Scott Morrow, and Stanislav Svozil are the ones that are remaining on my board for in the top sort of 32. And who knows, they could be high on someone else. Remember, they were the ones that threw everyone for a loop with their pick last year late in the first round. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go ridiculously off the board with this pick tomorrow.
Yeah.
The only player that I have that was not picked within this top 31 is Wyatt Johnson. He's a center, 6'1", 178 from the OHL Winter Spitfires. He has skill, can play defensive. Coaches love him because they can trust him and rely on him. He actually was a part of the Canadian development program. He kind of came into that program, and the coach was talking to him about, okay, well, we have the high end skill, but we need you to play a bit of a bottom 6 role, and he transitions right away from high-end skill, being like, okay, I need to be on the defensive side of the puck. I need to listen to my coach and make sure that he is in the right spot. So Wyatt Johnston is as far as I'm concerned, will be a 100% NHLer within this league within the next 2 to 4 to 5 years, and he will be a mainstay within this league. And you got to watch out for him as well, because he has that diversity of the high end skill, but also willing to listen to his coaches. And if there's anybody, any type of coach like a Barry Trotz type of coach out there that wants that type of player that has that skill but is willing to listen, he is 100% on the board within that organization.
Yeah, there's the kind of, I think the consensus top 10, there's a consensus top 10, but depending on how you look at it, then there's a 10 to 20 that I think, 10 to 15, I feel like is a little bit higher than 15, 20. And then 21 to 30, I think we're the true, I think if you are a fan of trades, I think that's where that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or a fan of chaos.
I think we'll see some chaos, and I think there's going to be some people scratching their heads with some of the picks.
I've got an article, a quick sort of update article from Elliot Friedman, and he said that the best line. He's got one bullet point where he says the best line about the unpredictability of this draft. One executive said that someone's going to take a player on Friday, and I'm going to say, oh, holy shit, we had him in the 4th round.
Yeah.
Is that Friedman swearing?
Well, let's just put it this way: it was censored with all those characters, and I took it out. I could have said fuck, but I said shit.
No, I would have said fuck easily. But I absolutely love that. Before we sign off here, I just want to say that if Cole Sillinger is not taken for the Flames, I see them if these players are available. A Miss McTavish, a Fedor, Fetchkov, Isaac Rosen, a Matthew Coronado, or a Carson Lambos. I feel like those are the players that Calgary is within the grasp of, and that they would be more than happy to take within this first round. So if it's not going to be a Cole Sillinger, who is my number 1 pick, and that's who I saw that Calgary was going to take. Any one of those other players, I think, would be a fantastic fit within the Flames organization.
Yeah, my top 5 are kind of similar to you. Sillinger, Svechnikov, Othman, Lambeau, and Isaac Rosen would be.
Yeah. With the Canucks, like I said, I like Mason McTavish. I like Cole Sillinger. I like Kent Johnson. If for some reason Brett Clark falls, I'd be absolutely fucking thrilled. In terms of the sort of the 4 defensemen. The biggest one, the one I'm not the biggest fan of is Simon Edmondson, because I'm not sold on his. He sounds so much like Philip Broberg to me, and it's like all the toolbox, maybe not all the tools in it, and that's where I'm at with him. But prove me wrong.
Prove me wrong, kids. Prove me
wrong. But then you've got here from James saying that if Scotty Morrow is available. For the Canucks, if things go similar to what we have here, right-handed defenseman, 6'2", good skater, can quarterback a power play. That's what the Canucks need. They need someone that a right side defenseman that can grow it and build with Quinn Hughes here. So that would be fantastic. But who knows? Like even in the top 10. Top 15, I could see 2-3 trades. I think this is going to be an absolutely insane draft, and with the unpredictability and teams trading up to get players, teams seeing 2 or 3 players they like and trading down. We already saw it last year with the Flames trading down twice and still getting the player they wanted. So I think we're going to see a very similar aspect in that, even but on steroids.
Yeah. I agree. For me, for the 4 horsemen of the defenseman, I'm power. I'm different than you. Power, Hughes, Edvinsson, Clark. I'm more of a fan than Edvinsson than other people. I know that the argument is about offensive game with him, but I just look at what this guy can do in terms of his physical capabilities. If he's able to get it together, it's hard to pass up this size. I think he is going to be. I think when he figures it out, he's going to be a mean ass player that nobody's going to want to go down that side.
So Chris Pronger.
Yeah. Yeah.
High praise.
If the Canucks get him and that's what they get, oh boy, I'd be happy. But like I said, I'm in the terms of those 4. I'm Power, Clark, Hughes, Edvinsson.
Yeah.
I am Power, Clark, Hughes, Holmesmith personally, but
you're always okay, Hollywood.
All right, let's leave it there. We will be back on Sunday to recap everything that has happened. All the trades. We didn't talk about some of the trades that happened today. I don't know if we want to quickly touch on anything today. We will wait. No. This is the mock draft. So we thank everyone for jumping on. How do we follow everyone?
I am Beardy Canuck 03 on Twitter.
I am at Hollywood. Nope, not Hollywood. Gordhouse09 on Twitter. Sorry.
I double dog dare you to change your Twitter handle.
Done.
Tyler, TNOBLE, the best hair on the Hockey Podcast. Schneid's is Chris. Chris is Schneid's, SCHNEIDZ. I am KEVOLE. Podcast_hockey. Facebook.com, The Hockey Podcast. YouTube.com, The Hockey Podcast. Subscribe on our podcast feeds as well. And as I said, Sunday, 11 o'clock Pacific, 12 o'clock Mountain, we recap the chaos of the Saturday and the Friday and the Saturday. Thanks, everyone. We will talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.
Pew, 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 pew.